Hello, I'm Bedrock, and when you start a brand new Minecraft world, you're given the option of typing anything you want into the world seed box, and this will alter and influence the way the Minecraft world's randomness does generate. So all of the terrain, all of the biomes, all of this stuff is based on that world seed, and if you type in the same seed again, you'll get the same exact world with the same biomes and the same terrain. And this is where most people's understanding of the seed function does end, and as you all do know, this is Seed Sunday. We usually like to dive a little bit deeper, so you might already be aware of the fact that if you type in, say, cat, the game would actually give you the seed 98,262, and it will actually use that as your world seed instead, because it converts any text into numbers and it uses those numbers as the seed. And although this is the surface level understanding, the truth is, under the hood, it turns out the game is actually converting it into a binary sequence first. If you type in, say, cat, it converts that into 101111111110, which sounds exactly the same because once you convert that into base 10, it's 98,262. So for most people, seeing 98,262 is far more important than seeing that binary sequence, which is why the game never shows it to you and why you don't really need to care about it for most people. However, for us, it tells us something very interesting because it lets us know the maximum number of seeds that it can exist in Minecraft at a time. Because that's sequence of zeros and ones is 32-bit, it tells us that there is 4.3 billion seeds roughly, because again, all of the different combinations of 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, etc. Gives us 4.3 billion, which is exactly the same number as 32-bit IP addresses. So fun fact there, like 32-bit integers are used in a bunch of things, including RuneScape, which is why the highest seed you can get in Minecraft is also the highest amount of cash you can have in RuneScape. It's 2,147,483,647. If you max out all of those ones, that is the seed the game gives you, because the first one represents positive, and then the next ones all represent a value. Add all of those values up together, and you get yourself the decimal 10, or the base 10 representation of that, which, like I said, 2,147,483,647. And today, we're going to be checking out the highest seed that can exist in Minecraft. I think it's going to be a fun time, and join me for one of the weirdest Seed Sundays, because believe me, I decided to check the seed out, and it has some of the strangest things going on. I mean, you probably saw the extreme global warming. It has one of the biggest mesas I've seen in a very long time. We focused on that for quite some time, but also some of the biggest frozen oceans right next door, and to a level we haven't seen in a very long time. Anyway, we can focus on all of the interesting real-life parallels in a second, but for now, let's dive into Seed Sunday as we usually do it, because this is a seed I think you're going to want to check out. So, hello, I'm Bedrock. Welcome back to Seed Sunday. This is the weekly series where I show you seeds for Minecraft which are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. This is the maximum seed you can get for Minecraft Bedrock. It's the maximum seed you can get using words for Minecraft Java, although there are higher ones there. But as far as most Minecraft versions are confirmed, 2,147,483,647 seed on screen right now is the seed which will give you the, again, it's the highest seed you can get, and it will spawn you just over here on Bedrock. You spawn in a very different place, but on the same world for Minecraft Java, about 2,000 blocks to the west, because interestingly enough, this has a huge mesa biome right at the world origin, but it doesn't spawn you anywhere near that world origin, which I think gives us a really good insight into the fact that Minecraft Bedrock deliberately will spawn you away from a mesa if there is one where your spawn should be. That's my understanding of this, at least, because look at the spawn otherwise here. It's really nice that you get a survival island. It's a really nice looking island, in my opinion. Gives me, some Legend of Zelda Wind Waker vibes, but it's a useless island to actually live on because there's not a single tree here. As you can see, it's a plains biome because it's spawning animals. It's a really nice biome to have in general. Like, you'll get a horse here eventually with no way to really, tame it. It's a great island to spawn in some ways, but it's also an awful island in others because you don't have trees. You have to swim somewhere if you want to get there, and although realistically I'd recommend just heading to the west because there is a acacia biome, instead what you might want to do is start the pilgrimage to the west, because if you head over in this direction, which, just in case it's interesting to you, does go past an ocean monument, an otherwise fairly rare little structure. But yeah, if you head far enough to the west, you'll see what you're going after. It's very hard to actually miss this. As long as you head in the general direction west, you'll see one of the biggest mesa biomes we've covered so far. And I feel like we've been very mesa biome heavy on Seed Sunday the past few weeks. But believe me, this is the mesa to end all mesas, because it's not only all of the features from the last one. It's got lots of different types of mesa. There's mesa, kind of flats. There's mesa with the lakes on it. There's there's Mesa Flattish, the old style Mesa. There's the new style Mesa, which has only existed since 1.11 for Bedrock. As you can see, it's like plateaued up here, like peaked, I would say, is a better way to describe it. It's a really nice little thing right here. You also get the Bryce Mesa biome, as you can see right there. But then as well as having some of the largest Mesa, we have next to that some of the largest frozen ocean. This frozen ocean is insane in its size, and like I mentioned, it's very close to the world origin. So it's 0, right in the very center of the world, the heart of the, the world, I would say in some ways. You have one of the biggest frozen oceans with all of these icebergs, all of these things like this, right next to the Mesa biome. You can see, in fact, they literally go next to each other. There is some iceberg on top of the Mesa biome itself, which is hilarious. You can even find at some of the very edges stuff like this, where the polar bears have accidentally left their own biome and ended up in the Mesa. And again, it's pretty insane looking at this, right? And just seeing like, oh yeah, turns out the Mesa biomes, when they're close enough to this much frozen ocean, one of the mobs you'll find will be polar bears, which are annoying in their own little ways, because again, polar bears with cubs are super, super defensive. Some of them will have icebergs which look like this. Seriously, look at the size of this iceberg. And again, I mean, like, fun little global warming joke, right? Like, aha. I used to be a climate change skeptic until I saw this, and then I realized, wow, this is really serious. We better do stuff about this. Look at this, there's a frost bunny, I think you'd call it, right here in the Mesa as well. I mean, technically he's not on a Mesa yet, but if you give him a little punch, look at that, there's a frost bunny in the Mesa. Look how crazy that is. Like, these rabbits should not be here. These should be in the Arctic. But here they are in the very hottest biome in Minecraft. And the reason behind that, clearly, as we all do know, it's the world heating up or something like that. So the real world analogs do get better, but I do want to show you every single one of these abandoned mine shafts we go past, because I mentioned how since the 1.11 update, it's been very, very hard to find abandoned mine shafts in Mesa biomes, because abandoned mine shafts got seriously nerfed in the last update. It was admittedly fixing a bug, but it meant that their incidence went way down. Finding an abandoned mine shaft is way harder now, and that's fair. It's the instance they're meant to be at, but you can find abandoned mine shafts at surface in Mesa biomes sometimes. It's kind of rare, but this one, as you can see, comes with a bunch of rails which you can take for free. No one's stopping you from taking these. It comes with spider spawners, or cave spider spawners to be more precise. If you dive into the depth of it, as you can see, cave spider spawner. This one is pretty much exposed to the open as well, by the way. Like, it's not even going to spawn spiders, which is, I mean, a big benefit. And then, yeah, you get all of this access to free stuff, which is a really nice little bonus to a seed, because it looks good and it also gives good. Also, you get a bunch of gold, because as we already know and have covered a few times, in Mesa biomes, you're going to find gold at the surface, much, much, much more. Gold ore vein, just down here, I'm sure there's another gold ore vein. Yep, gold ore vein, a big one there, because gold ore is just much more common in mesas above Y40. Anyway, let's head towards the world origin, because 0, 0 is a really important point in any Minecraft world. If you know where your coordinates are, even roughly, then 0, 0 is going to be the basic center of your world, right? And given the, for any of these things I'm showing off on screen, the coordinates will be on top left. If you play Minecraft Bedrock and you don't know, there is a show coordinates option, which is enabled, you can enable quite easily without enabling cheats, which will allow you to see where the coordinate, where in the world you are. And if you go near to the world origin, it's really interesting that you don't just have this huge mesa, which you can see the icebergs in the distance. You might have seen that earlier in the video, but you can also see a sunken ship here. A sunken ship which is fully intact, so you could do something cool with this, like revive it, bring it back up, or like just drain it, something like that. I feel like there's a lot of fun ideas with this, and this is another little bit of a fun parallel, because here's a fun fact about, I guess, global warming. It's not 100% a negative thing. This sounds like I'm, like gonna be like super pro global warming, like, I would like it to be hotter next summer. No, that's not my opinion. Most of the effects of, the world warming up are a bad thing. I think that's universally agreed on. However, there are some effects that are good, especially for some countries. I think Russia, Canada are great examples of countries which will benefit from global warming, and one of those reasons is because of the Northwest Passage. Canada owns a lot of sea, as you might know, looking on a map, and some of that sea, they control right now, but it's currently iced up. You have to use an icebreaker ship, which means that it's not very effective to bring goods around there. However, with, temperatures rising, a lot of that ice is going to go away year-round, or at least during the summer, and this will open up newer, faster trade routes between, say, the east coast of America and, Asia, say China, for instance. A lot of different trade routes will be opened up by this, but fun fact, we used to think it was always open year-round, and we sent some explorers there of a ship once to go check it out, and, yeah, fun fact, if you send a regular ship into ice, this happens. So yeah, here's another fun real-world analog, because I guess we're talking about global warming as well as Seed Sunday today. Man, this channel really has diversified. Used to be we'd just show off some amazing seeds. Today we got seeds that come with a little side knowledge of trivia. And I guess while we're in trivia mode anyway, as I show off one of the hugest flats up here, like again, look at the size of this area. It's either beautiful or the worst looking thing in the world. But another fun fact is, a lot of people call it global warming. I don't really like that name because, I mean, like, it doesn't really indicate the correct change that is happening. I think climate change is more accurate. One, because, I mean, like, global warming sounds good to a lot of people, right? Like, oh man, I hate having to pay the heating each summer. Climate change is a much better way to explain the fact that it's more variance, which is generally a bad thing. Like, people hate temperature variance more than they hate temperature change. Like, a lot of people live in Iceland and Greenland, and these places where it gets to minus 30, because in the summer it only goes to plus 15. The real hellish places are the ones where temperature variance is like hundreds of degrees. But anyway, I'm going to stop trivia for a second because I have something amazing I want to show you. So this is one of the things that really drew me to the seed and made me realize that it's not just a big mesa, because we know we've shown off a few big mesas. It's a big mesa which comes with a really nice rare side helping of sunflower plains. So bear in mind, it's a big, pretty mesa that comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes that has this tiny little plains biome enveloped in it. In that plains biome, you're going to find yourself a village. In that village, you find one of the rarest structures, at least post 1.14/1.11. As of the new village update, it's much harder to find these blacksmith chests, and in this rare blacksmith chest, you get an iron sword and 2 diamonds, which is enough to make an enchantment table. Or you could make a diamond sword, but then the iron sword would be a bit less useful. Also, on top of this rare, tiny plains biome surrounded by mesa, being a rare thing by itself, it's not just a regular plains, it's a sunflower plains. And if you've ever played Minecraft, look for sunflowers, because one day you decided you want them, you'll know that they're very rare. Sunflower plains are a rare variation of the plains biome, and you can't get sunflowers without one of these biomes. You can't just, make your own sunflower. You can you can make your own yellow dye, which is another handy use of these. But yeah, if you go around and collect a bunch of sunflowers, you'll have hundreds of sunflowers available to you, and that's something you can only have because of this sunflower plains, even if you don't care about the village. Because, some people, I'm sure, think villages are overrated these days, but I think even if you don't care about the village, all of these sunflowers make this an astounding little find. An astounding find which has just behind these Mesa, Bryce biomes, which again, Mesa Bryce is just such a pretty biome to look at. You don't really want to live here most of the time, but having it in view of your village, like, Heart Eyes or whatever. But here's the amazing thing, just behind this Mesa Plateau biome, just behind this Mesa Bryce, you're going to find yourself this really, really nice abandoned mineshaft that's directly at the surface. Sometimes it's at the surface, and by that they mean it goes into the mountains. This one is literally just at the surface. Here's a cave spider spawner that will never spawn cave spiders because it's always light level 7 because it's daytime, I guess until it's not daytime. But then also, oh look, here's a bunch of torches in case you really want to be safe about that. But yeah, getting a bunch of XP, always nice. Getting these free torches, all this free rail track. Again, rails are one of the coolest things. Roller coasters is one of the most fun things you can make in Minecraft. It's featured in so many different trailers. To have it, and it's one of the things that people like about the game, to have so much of it right here at the surface, and the worst bits of it are just a bit below. Oh, that's a rare skeleton. But yeah, the fact that all of this, stuff generates is a really nice benefit because it's the second mineshaft on the seed which already has one. These things are quite rare to find these days, but what if I said, by the way, here's 2 cave spider spawners next to each other to make it even rarer. But what if I said it's not just 2 mineshafts in this mesa? That's right, we've got a third one, and this third one's one of my favorite to look at. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the functional favorite, but you can have your own preferences in that one, because it's a mesa which goes through a river, it's a mineshaft which goes through a river part of a mesa. Rivers can generate through pretty much any biome in Minecraft, including mesas, and that doesn't stop mineshafts from generating, but it does cut through them. And you'll find stuff like this. It's literally a chest in a minecart floating with a bunch of stuff inside it. It's a weird thing to see. All of the sides of this mountain will have these weird mineshaft tunnels, and to me, this makes like a perfect kind of thing to fly through an elytra. It just looks cool having all this detail to the side that it's real, it's naturally generated. It looks like you did something amazing, but really you just picked a lucky seed, or it's not lucky because you watched this video. You went for a lot of skill and effort to find this one, but no, it's a really cool seed that just generates through this river again and again in really weird, I would say unexpected ways. Also, obviously, same thing where gold ore is going to spawn through all of these little tunnels. No matter which one you go down, you're going to find a gold ore because it's just that prevalent. So gold ore everywhere, and also a lot of free rails, and also just all the other things, and it's just another interesting one to look at because I think, mineshafts, once you've seen one, once you've seen, I'd say 2 or 3, you've probably seen all of them. But once you see that in mineshaft, in mesa biomes, it's very different, you start to have a different impression on that. At least I've started to have a different impression that mesa mineshafts are definitely the more interesting ones, just because of the sheer variance. We also have the classic Mesa ravines, which are, of course, a really stunning thing to see on any Mesa seed, because, as you can see, they go straight the way down to diamond layer. You can find diamonds looking around here, or lapis, or any of the other rare ores, because of the fact that these, these ravines cut right through the world. It's a really, really fun thing to see. And this particular ravine has that fun water effect, where like, oh, some of the ravine is cut off by this river here, but then it goes straight back into another ravine. But this ravine doesn't even look like one. It looks like just a circular pit into hell with a weird kind of shape at the bottom. I love the look of this personally, and I also love the fact that you'll find so many of them, like these Mesa mine shafts, which are also super common. There's just another spider spawner out here in the open. It's a different one, but with the same stuff. It generates with dark oak to stop you from falling into caves, by the way. There's just a lot of really interesting stuff going on with regards to this mesa. You're going to want to check it out and explore it. I'll admit, it's probably too big to make your base in. Like, it's just too staggeringly overwhelming to look at, and, maybe early game this is too much, but I would say at the very least, you want to come straight up north here. Again, check the coordinates in the top left. You want to come straight up north, and you want to sail down in the Sunflower Plains. It's got a really nice mixture of biomes around you. You've got the, the best biome for gold ore just to your right. Just to your left, you've got the best biome for emerald ore. So, there's a village here, emerald ore, one-on-one together. You're going to see some amazing stuff. And you also get some really nice little niche areas like this, for instance, where you can pretend you live in a mesa, but without having to actually be fully surrounded by it. And yeah, just really fun stuff. And in case that isn't enough for you, we also have one of the most staggering Mesa Bryce biomes I've seen forever. These things used to start tiny, then they'd be a little bit bigger sometimes, but this is one that can almost cover your entire field of view, even while staying on top of one of them. Also, it has another Mesa mineshaft, it seems. But yeah, this thing covers your entire field of view. It comes with some mineshafts, not very much, because again, these structures aren't really built for having mineshafts go through them. It's a bit glitchy in places. Look at this, for instance. This looks like someone was playing around and like destroying your biome. It looks like someone griefed it a bit, but no, it's a Mesa mineshaft. But as well as having this staggering biome, remember, this seed is also a perfect reminder of the fact that global warming, it's a very real concerning issue. Oh, wait, climate change, I guess. Climate change is a very real concerning issue. Having the climate go from good to bad, up and down, that's a thing we're not down with, unless we're Canada, Russia, a lot of other countries in the world. But unless you're one of the countries that is benefiting from it or actively causing it, then you can agree this is a horrifying sight. Seeing right next to this mesa, there's a giant iceberg. Seeing this iceberg, which for instance has a ocean ruin floating in it, this used to be someone's house. Now it's frozen because, that's how this one works. This is pure science facts, trust me here. But like, yeah, looking at all this stuff, you can just see that like, yeah, this isn't how it's meant to be, man. Things should be better than this. There shouldn't be polar bears and mesas and, icebergs in people's houses and icebergs and mesas as well, apparently, which is a little bit illogical, but we try not to think about it too much. But yeah, this is something that is a really interesting seed to see for a bunch of reasons. And even if the only reason you want to check out this seed is because you think Minecraft and climate change make some great memes, that's good enough for me, man. That's good enough for me. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this seed video. I hope you all enjoyed seeing the Minecraft's highest seed. Again, 2,487,483,647. Also, the max amount of gold you can have in RuneScape, which I always love as a fun fact. I hope you did all enjoy watching this video. You can like it if you did like it. You can share it if you really liked it. And you can even, get this, you can subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one covering all sorts of seeds that aren't necessarily related to real world events. Although more and more, I guess that's a thing we do on this channel. But yeah, it covers more and more seeds that you might want to check out in some way, which I think is wonderful. But yeah, we'll do a bigger deep dive into how seeds become the lettuce soon, because I think we found out something tragic regarding Minecraft strongholds to do with the seed. Anyway, we've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about in future Seed Sunday videos, because for now, this one is coming to a close. Goodbye.